Sometimes reading the book isn't enough. We want to be immersed in an idea or feeling. That's why at Book Interrupted, we've made a playlist for each book cycle. Visit www.bookinterrupted.com to find playlists for each book cycle and member. Or check out our YouTube channel. What's on your playlist?
Parental guidance is recommended because this episode has mature topics and strong language. Here are some moments you can look forward to during this episode of Book Interrupted.
This would be something interesting to learn if you could learn it. I just wonder if you could learn it.
It's on my playlist, True Colors, so listen to it.
And even the single ladies who don't have kids, I find that's actually some of the best advice because it's not blurry for them.
It's fascinating, the idea of that link. I don't know if that has
What's
to
the
do
name
with
of it
Déjà
again?
Vu. I think it's called Synesthesia.
But I've been constantly baiting Oprah this whole time. She hates that.
Can you imagine?
Mind, body, and soul. The information is the goal. Try to learn something new without being distracted. Mind, body, and soul. Information is the goal. Trying to learn something new without being disrupted. Mind, body, and soul. Inspiration is the goal. And we're gonna talk it out on Book Interrupted.
Welcome to Book Interrupted, a book club for busy people to connect and one that celebrates life's interruptions. If you'd like to join along, this book cycles from January 3rd to February 13th. It's Leah's book pick, and we're reading What Happened to You by Dr. Bruce D. Perry and Oprah Winfrey. Our earliest experiences shape our lives far down the road, and What Happened to You provides powerful scientific and emotional insights into the behavioral patterns so many of us struggle to understand. This book is going to change the way you see your life. Let's listen in to this episode's group discussion.
I would like to steer things away a little bit from the sad, hope, bleak thing. There was a comment in there that wasn't bleak, but I thought was interesting. They're talking about like smell and memory, how certain things can cause you to like have a memory and you don't realize it. And they referred to that being like, this might be what déjà vu is. And I thought that was very interesting because I get déjà vu all the time. And I think like, did I dream this or whatever? And I mean, maybe I dreamt something that was similar because I had an experience and I put these things together, like these smells and these places and stuff. And they just represented themselves in my life again. They came back. And they had this sense of déjà vu, and I really like that because I haven't had déjà vu since I read that. But when I do, I want to stop and be like, become very aware and look around me and be like, what am I smelling? What am I seeing? What am I hearing? Think about all those things, like all the sensations, that mindfulness, 5 senses type situation where you're like, try to be present and figure out where the memory came from. Did anybody else? I don't know. When that came up, I was like, ooh, that's interesting.
I think it's interesting that you get déjà vu a lot.
A lot.
Oh, I get it fairly frequently, I think.
Me too.
But I'm the opposite. I wish Kara was here because she would be right on my side with this one. And Sarah's in there. You just scienced the fuck out of it, Mare. And it's not that déjà vu means you're on the right path. And déjà vu is a sign from the universe, just so you know. Like, So I probably dismissed that point. I probably was like, that's not going in my memory. I have
like, that's
different
not what
beliefs
déjà
about
vu
déjà
is,
vu.
doctor.
Yeah, totally.
Hell
I do not concur.
I think so too. I'm like, don't take the fantasy, the magic away. Yeah, don't take the magic away.
Not you, Dr. Perry.
Yeah.
Did you guys, I was listening to the radio, kind of a side topic, but we're talking about senses and stuff. Have you ever heard of, I think it's called synesthesia. It's when people, there's quite a few people that have this, that when they have one scent, it connects to another scent. So
Ooh, cool.
Someone will say, see the letter J or something, and it will represent a color. They'll see color, or they'll have certain, like, it'll connect, like you'll see
or
something, there'll
music,
be a smell.
Music and color, tones.
And some people that are have perfect pitch. The one guy was talking about how he has perfect pitch because when he hears a certain key, he pictures a certain color. So if he just thinks of the color and then that pitch comes, the perfect pitch. So it just was, I thought it was fascinating, the idea of that link. I don't know if that has
What's
to
the
do
name
with
of it
déjà
again?
vu. I think it's called synesthesia. Hold on. Laird's around.
I wonder if you could train yourself to do that.
I like that.
That's a good thing to look into.
4% fix.
That's your 4% fix. I'm gonna get up and visualize the color of one.
Just like go in a room of green and like playing like the key of D or whatever.
Laird says it's called synesthesia. He was listening to the radio with me too. Yeah. Ooh. So how cool is that? Like, I was like, I wish I had that. That'd be so cool if you had
does
like
that. He talks about seeing sound.
Yeah, well, maybe that's what he's doing.
Cool. He comes up with some like, I don't know.
Yeah, like there's seeing and there's smell, and like different people have different connections with different things, and there's a whole society and stuff of people that have this. And
this would be something interesting to learn if you could learn it. I just wonder if you could learn it.
Well, you got to look it up. Research.
Lindsay, you could probably learn the smell one because you could probably associate smells more than other people because of your training.
Yeah, I think it's something in your brain. Like, I think maybe that's connected somehow. Like, I don't know.
This is kind of like something, this is another side of what happened to you too, maybe. Is like
it's genetic.
Oh, is it genetic?
It is genetic.
Shoot.
Yeah, Laird just said it. Sorry, they did talk about that now. It is genetic, so a lot of people in the same families have it. So
cool. Yeah. You might be able to, maybe you can turn it on, Mare. Like get a 23andMe, see if you have it first. And then you got to, you know what I mean? Maybe you can epigenetic
and like
it on,
epigenetic it up, right?
Yeah.
So, like, I need to have a lot of methylating factors.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
I love the déjà vu. Déjà vu is funny because like I used to write down dreams. So I'm like, I'm pretty sure I'm reliving dreams. Like when I was younger, I was like, I think this was a dream.
I have repetitive dreams.
And I used to write down and then be like, when they happen, like, where's that journal that I wrote down the dream? I'm like, I don't know. I never found them. I think maybe it's just, again, there's something to censor the smells, or I don't know. Sometimes I think that déjà vu might be something we don't understand about like time, the existence of like space-time, where maybe there's something where like you're linking to a past or future consciousness in yourself. I don't know. I like to think about that. I like sci-fi.
I like that one. I like that one a lot.
Or it's a glitch in the Matrix.
Or a glitch in the Matrix.
Yeah, very Matrixy.
Oh, I just watched the new Spiderman movie, and it's all.
I watched it yesterday.
Oh, isn't it so good?
Is it good?
We watched it on Friday night. It's so fucking good.
Yes, I love Tom Holland so much.
Me too, and all of them. Like I love them together. I like, but anyways, they're Matrixy too, right? The Spider-Verse or whatever, the multiverse. It was so good, and
it was
like
funny.
Yeah, it was funny. Like it was. It's my favorite movie right now.
You gotta. Okay.
We're doing a competition, me and Mare. It's my favorite movie ever.
Okay, I don't think this is would be like, you gotta watch out where you fall or something. There's like a line.
Oh yeah,
you gotta be careful where you fall. That's not gonna ruin anything, but it's like pretty hilarious. Like,
or like, what about when he's like, I know how to work in a team, and then they're like, we're in a band. It was really good.
We won't ruin it for you.
Don't ruin it.
No spoilers.
But it was good.
Very good. Highly recommend. And did you watch it in 3D?
No, but I think I have trouble with 3D because of the epilepsy.
Yeah.
I've tried it and I'm always like, I get my spidey sense.
Yeah.
But like I have this like,
your tingler starts to tingle?
Yeah, it does. I like all of a sudden my peripheral vision goes and I like have cut ins of being able to see. So I can't do 3D.
I recommend it in 3D for those who don't have epilepsy or motion sickness, because there's a lot of like falling, and it's really good though. Super good.
There was more than half an hour worth of previews.
True that.
It was.
Oh, I love previews.
That's my favorite part too, Leah.
That's my favorite part. I could go to a movie of previews.
Same.
It was advertisements though. A lot of them. There was like they played one Scotiabank commercial 3 or 4 times.
Oh, I didn't have that. Your theater must need money or something.
I think probably. I think they do. We only have like the one.
Yeah. And COVID, right? So they're like, anybody.
And Northern Health has had more restrictions than like the rest of BC. Well, now you're all back. Like now you guys are all on what we have.
What are they?
You guys are into the Northern Health restrictions now.
Tell me them. How does it change?
Well, you can only have 10 people over in your house or one other household.
Doesn't matter. Don't know 10 people. Next.
I don't know about the rest, but I was like, they put out the restriction. I was like, these are the ones we have already. And Dan's like, no, the rest of the province has been free to do whatever they want or whatever.
Yeah, why are you so restricted? I felt like it would be safer norther.
Lower vaccination rates.
Lindsay, is the new restrictions affecting your work in a positive way or negative?
Sarah and I were talking about this and I said, well, it's a challenging time to become a manager at a restaurant. Yeah, we were like crazy busy. And then now it's not as busy, but we have to like adapt to all the new restrictions. So that we have to like go through and reset everything and make sure we're following all these rules and contact tracing and all this stuff. So I don't know. It's
like hard to be a restaurant manager anyway. And
Yes.
now people think they have 100% more right to complain.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I hadn't thought of it that way.
Yeah.
But
In the beginning, I think people might have been nice, right? Like, oh, COVID. Oh, yeah. Ooh. And now everyone's like, fuck everything.
They're
Oh,
more
really?
nice now again. But
good.
no,
Good.
we have to stop alcohol service by 10 and everyone has to have left the building by 11. So it means that
let's actually public service announcement to any customer: quarter to close is not okay. Do not come in 15 minutes before we're closing and order your food. Right? The owners will encourage it. The servers will hate you.
yes.
Yeah, the kitchen wants to be cleaning up, I'm sure.
Right, exactly.
This interruption is brought to you by Unpublished. Do you want to know more about the members in Book Interrupted? Go behind the scenes? Visit our website at www.bookinterrupted.com.
Book interrupted.
Interruption time. So today's biggest interruption is, and it sounds so silly to be complaining because I am a very lucky lady. I got a brand new MacBook Air. My family members went in on it as a big surprise for me. It's super duper wonderful. And here I am complaining because I'm trying to adjust to the learning curve. I'm so used to being like a HP laptop kind of a person, and I thought I'd give Mac a try. Totally loving it, don't get me wrong, but sometimes when you just want to get to the task at hand and your hands almost have like this muscle memory of like, in order to do this, like right click, you do this, and just getting all so the interruption is that I am not a perfect technological user, and it's upsetting. No, it's not super upsetting. It's just I'm finding that I don't have a lot of patience for myself. So that is my interruption, is noticing that I'm a freaking spaz.
Book interrupted.
Okay, can I bring this back to what happened to you?
Okay,
I have another kind of it's a safe topic about this book.
Please.
So I'll give a little backstory. Does anybody remember when James Frey, or Frey, I'm not sure how you pronounce his last name, the author of A Million Little Pieces, when he went on Oprah and first I believe he went on one time and got praised, and then everyone found out that his biography may not have been as factual as people want biographies to be. I'm still not clear on the situation for why he was skewered, but he was like, Oprah brought him back and like killed him verbally. So I watched that. So, okay, I love A Million Little Pieces, still do. Don't care how much of it is true and not. It was really, really good. That'll be on one of my Manuscript Monday suggestions. Meredith,
can you explain what it is? I don't know anything about what you're talking about.
A Million Little Pieces was supposedly, and I always get the words wrong. So what am I writing if I'm writing a story about myself?
Memoir.
Okay. So, and I believe there was some debate about whether it had the right to be called a memoir or whatever. So
or
James,
autobiography, one of those two.
Okay. So
no, it was a memoir for sure.
Okay. So James Frey writes this book. It's called A Million Little Pieces. It's about his like recovery from addiction. It's awesome. And everybody loved it. And then some of it turned out to be not completely true. So because he was addicted, he was then like, can't use any substances ever. And then he like supposedly went to the dentist and had like root canals with no numbing or something, like something crazy that everyone was like, holy crap. And it was part of the thing that made the book so impactful to people. But then it turned out that that wasn't really true, or maybe him going to jail. Like, there was some pieces that he made more interesting for his book. And when that came out, Oprah brought him back on and was like you lie. Like, it was like, I have the show notes for you, Lindsay. I have clips to give you to post or whatever. Anyway, so I've always remembered that because I thought it wasn't very nice that what Oprah did, even if what he did was worthy of people feeling disappointed, or even, I don't think he was fully deceptive. But anyway, so she starts talking about how we're like relationally impoverished in the world. We're not really listening to each other, and disconnection's making us more vulnerable. And then Dr. Perry says something, and then she says, I see it all the time. Someone makes one mistake, or something they said a long time ago resurfaces, and cancel culture takes over. No one wants to listen to each other. So in this book, Oprah is, kind of saying that's not cool. And I immediately, being Jane Frey's biggest like defender since I saw that first one, was like, what are you talking about, Oprah? Like, that's really hypocritical of you, because that's exactly what you did to James Frey. Then I Googled it because I was looking for the original attack, and I found, lucky for Oprah, no, just kidding, like I'm going to go get her. But I found that she apologized to him, because she recognized that she did a faux pas. So she can say that because she's not a hypocrite, because she already did take care of her business. So I have the link to that too. Like, I don't know if it was an interview or 20 years later or whatever it was. This is me reporting my details so inaccurately. I'll probably get skewered by Oprah next. And then,
I hope Oprah listens to us.
Same, and I hope that she gets mad at me. Like, just so she calls me on the show. I'll take an Oprah beating so I can get on TV for sure.
Whatever you want. Do your
That's
work,
why I
Oprah.
don't tell my facts accurately. I've been constantly baiting Oprah this whole time. She hates that.
Can you imagine? 1 year.
You said this, but actually this.
I'm like, I did it on purpose. So, but she does. She apologizes. She explains, like, I was really righteous. Like, she just really identifies where she went wrong in that interaction. And I want to give props to her, because what felt really hypocritical, she already was well aware of and managed it very well. And like, I think that they're friends now. I think they like email and whatever, like she mended that. So that was something I've been holding on to, because that was like I'm most proud because I sourced the whatever sources so that I could give them to Lindsay. Because usually she's like, I'm going to need to know where you got that from or whatever. And I have it already saved for you.
Thank you.
You
or
are
I
welcome.
like have to look for it, and I'm like Googling
Right.
like what you guys said and some weird words. And I'm like,
yeah. And I don't give enough accurate information to actually find it. Right. You're like, she said it was Oprah, but it turned out it's Cyndi Lauper. What the hell? Like, anyway, that's what I wanted to.
I can't think of a more opposite person. like
literally, if you put like Oprah into a computer and you select an opposite, it spits out Cyndi Lauper.
How did you even get those two in your brain at the same time? Yeah,
I don't know how I did that.
I like thinking about Cyndi Lauper.
I love Cyndi Lauper.
I think about her more than other people do.
You think about her more than other people?
I do think about her.
Really?
I think no, more than other people do.
I don't think you know.
Really?
Like, I don't know if a lot of people think about Cyndi Lauper a lot, but sometimes I'm like, man, she was so good.
She is so good.
She's so good. Whenever I hear a song that's her song that someone's covering, I was like, man, Cyndi Lauper, she's great.
She is. I think the same thing all the time.
She's so unusual, that album.
Oh, that album is fantastic.
I don't love her.
You don't like Cyndi Lauper?
No, I don't like her at all. I don't think I do. I don't think I've invested enough into...
Listen to She's Unusual. Listen to the album and try not to love at least one.
Yeah, listen to the whole album from beginning to end.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever listened to a Cyndi Lauper. I can only think of Time After Time.
Overplayed. Beautiful song, but in this fight, you need to listen to the album to get your appreciation back to where it would be.
The whole album.
Yeah, true.
what other song? Girls Just Want to Have Fun? That's her, isn't it?
Girls Just Want to Have Fun. That's my two reference
True
points.
Colors.
True Colors.
True Colors. So
Yeah.
good.
True Colors
okay.
is one of my favorite songs in the whole world. It's the best. It's on my playlist, True Colors, so listen to it.
There you go.
My kids love True Colors. They sang it. It's adorable.
Cute.
But probably because it was in
was in
Trolls.
Trolls.
Oh, yeah.
Just get that album, She's So Unusual, Leah, and like maybe you could commit to listening to it one time from beginning to end. I'll even allow you a fast forward of Girls Just Want to Have Fun and Time After Time.
Fast forward, Girls Just Want to Have Fun.
Because the other songs are really good too.
True Colors, I can skip. I know that one. Okay, I'm on it. You know what? I'm going to put it on my to-do list.
Yes.
Can I say one more thing about the book before we
Wrap it
wrap
up.
up because it's soon? The one thing I liked that we've gone over and over in the podcast about, and that's come up in this book, is the idea of community and raising children, which I thought was really important. And I know Sarah talks about it in Senegal, and we've talked about it a bunch about how, the book says, like, just because maybe your parents aren't there as much, if you have a steady community of people who are there to support you, then if something like if one of those adults or one of those people isn't able to be there for you, say they have postpartum or whatever, if you have that community, then those children are also just going to be just fine. And so I thought that was just a nice way to kind of, talk about that topic again, about how important or
The
how
village is.
Yeah, the village is. Thank you, Kim. Yes, how important the village is, which came up in Sapiens as well, and came up in, like I feel like we're circling all these themes over and over.
Yeah, that's been very present. I'll link it back to the book, but I was just thinking about, I had therapy earlier this week, and I talked to her, just talking through an issue, like a parenting related issue. And it really made me think about how I have not developed a community of friendships with people who have children, or at least children my age. And like the school friends and whatever, it's like you kind of know them, but it's really just drop off and pick up stuff. But I'd really like to work on developing a community of one or two friendships with women who parent in the same style that I do, because it's one thing to ask opinions of people, but when they don't have the same kind of base ethos that you do around parenting, like what's the point? You're just gonna not agree, or it's not gonna be, maybe not agreeing is good often, but it's, I don't know the example per se, but it's
Well,
like,
if you're looking for support, you probably want people that are on the same page rather than
or
a
at least
complete
like they're not
departure.
like into the same things that I'm not into doing. Like, for instance, a really easy one is spanking. I think at this point in 2021, I think that's an easy one. I could get into minutia, but I think it would be boring on like parenting differences. Yeah, so that really rings true for me. It's like I haven't really made a community. I don't know, my friendships that I guess I've developed, all the single ladies. All the single ladies.
I think it's hard. Sometimes it's hard to build that community too. Like, I don't know,
you don't know where to start. I haven't made a new friend in so long.
We're kind of like homey people. We staying home in a quiet house. Same thing. I'm trying to like make an effort, because if I can build a community with the people who my daughter, the families that she's in class with, then it's nice, because then you can say, can you pick up my kid at the end of the day? Or I'll pick up your kid, or you got a thing going. Why doesn't your kid come over here? And we can, you can get these close relationships, not just with the parents, but with the kids too. Because, kids love being loved by a ton of people.
And it's been such a weird time to raise, I think, to like introduce your kids to these, they've been at home and then now they're in school, and it's a whole different level of interaction. And we've been forced to, for almost 2 years, not have community. And now it's like, boy, the scales feel unbalanced. So I think that is such a good point, Lindsay, to make, that it's like, we need each other. And even the single ladies who don't have kids, I find that's actually some of the best advice, because it's not blurry for them. And I don't mean single necessarily, like childless. And maybe men, I don't talk to men about kids stuff often, but maybe them too. It's kind of interesting when you talk to people without kids, it's just, they see it clearly sometimes. Yeah, more obviously. So I don't want to. So Lindsay, let me have it.
Yeah, I have a community here, so it's really easy. Like right now, my kids are with my friend who has a daughter that my daughter's friends with. It's gotten to a point where now she's like, oh, if you have a show, no problem. They just come to my house. And she's actually flying today to Spain. She's like, oh, I don't leave for the airport till 7:30, no problem. And that's like a half an hour before the show ends. I was like, okay, if you're okay with it. She's like, oh yeah, no problem. And then my other really good friend is her daughter's best friends with my daughter. But I think it's just easier here because community is so easy. Like for me, I'm more guarded, where so many people try to be like,
get in your business.
Yeah, and I'm like, I don't know. Even my friend Monica, who's have my kids right now, she I think she had to work on it. Like she was just always like, do you want to go to this? There's something going on. Like she was always like inviting me, until slowly she was like chipping away, and she would start like with things that all the kids we could take the kids to. And I'm like, okay, yeah, sure. And then eventually I'm like, oh, like we're really good friends now. But it's me, right? But community is super easy here. It's just so easy. And then also I have a large family unit, and I know I don't have to worry. Like I don't even have to ask. I could literally drive to my family's home and drop off my kids for a sleepover for numerous nights and come back later, and no one will be like thinking that's weird. They would just be like, okay, see you in a couple days.
I guess they live
You know
here
what I mean?
now.
Like, it's just like, yeah, we're all a family. It's just normal. Like, we're a family. Like, they don't think of the nuclear family.
Yeah.
It's a family, right?
Yeah.
So I'm lucky here. It's nice to have, just to feel supported, really. Just like Mary said, like, can you pick up my kids? Or like, I have a show. I forgot we had the recording today until 3 days ago. And I was like, oh, she's going to Spain. And my mom's here. Like, oh no, they're going to be so loud.
I know. I was thinking like, it's really sad that it's like, I pay a therapist to talk about things that I'm worried about because I haven't developed any sense of community of people that I don't know.
I don't think that's sad. It's sad if you wish you had some friends to also talk about it with, but I think once you get those friends, you
maybe
should
not
keep your
sad.
therapist.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. It made me feel something that
probably alone though, because you're like, I'm paying
feel
someone
lonely.
for the things.
Yeah.
That
Made
I
me
feel
feel
like I
lonely.
could get somewhere else.
Yeah.
I think that's another, I was talking to my husband about that. I think that's another symptom of the individualist society, because there isn't that many therapists here, because like, I think about problems that happen in people I know or my family or whatever. It's immediately everyone's calling everyone. People are going to people's houses. Everybody is on it. Like, you have a problem. We are all coming to figure out how we can make that a solution for you and make things better. So once again, you could be at peace. Like, it's immediate. It's not like, I was actually talking to someone recently and they were talking about Canadians because they did yoga with some Canadians. They're like, oh, you're Canadian. And they said, they're like, Canadians are really nice, but there's something like, they're very nice and they care about you, but then they stop. Yeah, they feel sympathy and they'll help you to an extent, but that's your issue. And then they're gone. And then they're like, yeah, it's very bizarre. And they're very nice while they do it, but it's very strange. And then they just stop and then they go. And you're like, well, I told you my problem.
Yeah, it's not solved yet. Where are you going?
Where are you going? I have trouble asking for help, right? Like, I have trouble asking. The reason I saw Spiderman is because we were given tickets to a private viewing in the theater from our old realtor. He gives all his clients something at the end of the year, but he's also a friend. Then we were like, well, we want to go, but they had to limit tickets. We couldn't bring the kids because of space and stuff and how many people were allowed to go. And so I was like, oh, maybe she could babysit. I'm like, actually, maybe we should just ask our friends if our kids can go there for a play date for, whatever, 3 hours or whatever it was. It ended up being 4 because there was over half an hour of commercials.
It's a long movie.
Yeah. And they were like, yeah. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, that was super easy. Because if they asked me, I would be like, bring them over, right? I love having, and I love those kids. I have love for them and they'll have love for me. And it's nice because you see them and you hug them and, they want to show you stuff. And that's nice, right? That kind of, it's hard to ask. Maybe that's because I'm Canadian.
It's hard to ask. Yeah.
Maybe that's the Canadian culture. And I don't know.
Yeah, there's some like subtle implication that like, if you ask for help, you somehow are weak. It's all wrapped up in the individualism, right? Yeah. You should you can do it on your own, and you like meritocracy, like all of it. Right? Because asking for help means you're doing it with someone else. Well, that would be collective, and we don't do that here.
Yeah. Right? I know people want everyone to be a team player, but not really.
Yeah. Not needy.
Don't be needy.
You can ask for help, but don't be needy.
Yeah. But it's also, like you ask for help and then it's like you owe somebody something. Like, I think Canada's a lot are like that. It's like, oh, I have to ask them for help, but then I need to do something for them.
That's how I feel.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
Now I have to have their kids over.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
I struggle with this a little bit with like, do you guys feel this way? Like, if somebody invites you over for dinner, then you're like, do I have to do it next?
Yes. I think like it from my mom. She's like, we've done dinner the last 3 times. And I'm like, so did you invite them? And she's like, yes. And she's like waiting, like they owe me a dinner now. I'm supposed to go to their house now. And I'm like, I have like, and I don't believe that. But whenever someone asks me over for dinner, I'm like, well, they're not coming to my house. So I guess it's friends off.
Like I don't personally, if I invite someone over, I don't expect them to invite me over necessarily. I'm okay with that. But I think there's a culture where it's like, well, I went, now it's your turn. and now it's my
Totally.
turn. And then it's your
Yeah.
turn. And sometimes it's nice to have those friendships where they realize that maybe one member of that friendship finds it more stressful to have people over or whatever, for whatever reason, because of what happened to them. That is that is
to
hard
loop
to
it
do.
back.
Yeah.
Right, to loop it back. It's hard to do that sometimes. And so I tried to.
There was an incident with a baked ham.
I never have people
It
over.
caused me some large tea trauma.
There's this friend that I met through work, and he travels and stuff. So whenever he's in town, we have him over for dinner because, you know, usually if you travel and you would take somebody from the mill out to dinner to a restaurant. But if you travel all the time, you don't want to eat in a restaurant all the time. So we have him over instead. Right. It's much nicer to be in someone's house. And like, there's a little tea trauma for him, I think, every time he comes. The dinner, for some reason, things that I've made many times before become a disaster. Like every time he comes, like I made like a chickpea curry. The chickpeas were fully cooked. They were like kind of hard in the middle. And he's like lactose intolerant. And I'd put
extra
ghee
milk.
in there. And he's like, oh, is there ghee? And I was like, oh, I'm sorry. I know you're lactose intolerant. He's like, it's okay. He always has the pills and stuff.
Oh, thank
But like
God.
all these little things. I can't remember. There was another one where I was like, I'm sorry. This is a disaster again. It was just some other thing.
Don't go.
Maybe just order in next time.
There you go. There you go. Good solution.
Oh man. But again, so I try to offer without, you know, because it's hard for people to ask for help. And they'd be like, well, how can I pay you? And stuff like, no. We're just building community. That's all this is about. Just like, if you need help, I'll help you.
Build it.
And that's it. Because we're building community, right? I think that's a good enough reason.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to start taking.
But,
not
you know,
giving.
I think you got the message wrong a little bit.
I'm going to start at the other end and work my way there.
See how far along I have to go.
Exactly. I like it.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of Book Interrupted. If you'd like to see the video highlights from this episode, please go to our YouTube channel, Book Interrupted. You can also find our videos on www.bookinterrupted.com.
A book club is just a book without members. Join the community by following us on Facebook, Instagram, or sign up for exclusive content through our website at bookinterrupted.com/unpublished. We'd like to give a big shout out to our listeners. Your support makes this all possible. Thank you for the uplifting feedback and for recommending us to family and friends. We love hearing from you. Please reach out through our website at bookinterrupted.com/fans or by emailing connect@bookinterrupted.com. We appreciate you for taking time out of your busy schedule to connect with us. See you next time on Book Interrupted.
Moments you can look forward to on next week's Book Interrupted.
Nightmares and the depression and like me being in a bad mood and all of it. Like I was just like,
it was
please.
snapping. And now the journey to recovery or healing, not recovery, healing.
That could accomplish the same thing. Well, hopefully don't accomplish the same thing, because there were some people that were very upset by this book. So maybe they could.
And it's like one of the only really healthy escapes.
Oh, that's perfect ending.
Book Interrupted.
Never forget, every child matters.